Hey everybody, today I will be reviewing the newest Star Wars canon novel, Star Wars Thrawn Alliances. And this novel is by the famed Star Wars author Timothy Zahn, who is the creator of the now expanded universe Thrawn trilogy. And he was also the author of the first canon book which featured Thrawn, Star Wars Thrawn. So Thrawn Alliances was a very good read. If you're a Star Wars fan in general, you'll like it, especially if you're a Thrawn fan, as I am, and a Timothy Zahn fan, then you will really enjoy this book. Now, as far as all of the Thrawn literature goes, I would say that this was probably my least favorite Thrawn book. However, it's still a great read, and if you're a Thrawn fan, it's still a must-read. So this book takes place between episode 3 and episode 4, and more specifically between the end of the Rebels television show and Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, the movie. But there's really two plots of this book. The one of the plots features Darth Vader and Thrawn, who are sent on a mission together by the Emperor. And that takes place during that time period. But then, weaved throughout the book, there's also a second plot line, which takes place much earlier. And that takes place in between episodes 2 and 3 during the Clone Wars. And it takes place towards the end of the Clone Wars, and probably after or in the very late episodes, like around those episodes of the Clone Wars television series. And you can tell this because the book has Anakin Skywalker as a character. And towards the beginning, it mentions in passing how it's after Ahsoka Tano left the Jedi Order, which is in the last aired season of the Clone Wars. So it's towards the end of the Clone Wars, and this second plot line has Anakin Skywalker and Thrawn go on a mission together. Now, this takes place obviously before the Thrawn novel, which happens soon after Episode 3. So at this point, Thrawn isn't part of the Empire, or he isn't known by the Republic. In this earlier plot line during the Clone Wars, Thrawn is with the Chiss Ascendancy, and he's an officer, kind of like a scout, who goes out and he's observing the Clone Wars and the conflict between the Republic and the Separatists, sort of to gather information. And this is actually alluded to in the Thrawn novel. When Thrawn first meets the Emperor, he talks about how he met General Anakin Skywalker, and was impressed with the Jedi. And so the first plot line in this, for the earlier chronological plot line, gives the details of that event of Thrawn meeting Anakin Skywalker, which I'm very glad that Timothy Zahn decided to sort of go back and show those events, because when I read that in the Thrawn novel, I was like, that's really interesting, but it didn't really give any details. So I'm really happy that he decided to go back and sort of give us more and fill those little holes in about how Thrawn did meet Anakin Skywalker. And the interesting thing, too, is that obviously Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker, but that's a secret, so Thrawn doesn't know that. And the mission that he's sent with in both cases is to the same 2 planets that he went to with Anakin Skywalker, which allows him to sort of piece together bit by bit who Darth Vader might be, or at least he maybe does. It's a sort of an interesting relationship between Thrawn and Vader, because he's sort of trying to determine who he is, and Vader obviously doesn't like that, so at times Vader gets upset. So it's definitely a cool dynamic that Thrawn and Vader have together. Side note, I have my Thrawn Alliance poster on the screen, on the side of the screen over there, hanging from my bed, because this special edition Barnes & Noble exclusive edition came with a poster, so I'm very happy about that. Where was I before I got distracted by my poster? Okay, so comparing the 2 storylines, I definitely enjoyed the Vader-Thrawn storyline far more than I enjoyed the Anakin Thrawn storyline, which is a little unfortunate because, like I said, when I read the Thrawn book, I was really interested in the details of the Anakin Thrawn story. So I was a little disappointed. I mean, it was very interesting, but I think, I mean, I couldn't have wrote it better, but I think Zahn, Timothy Zahn, with his such great ability to write novels, I kind of expected more from him with the Anakin Thrawn storyline. But the Vader Thrawn storyline was fantastic. If I was going to rate out of 5 the separate storylines, I would say that Anakin Thrawn is probably like a 2 out of 5, and that the Vader Thrawn is probably like a 4 out of 5. But I wouldn't drop the Anakin Thrawn because, like I said, I was interested in that. But in addition, it adds the Vader Thrawn 4 out of 5 wouldn't be 4 out of 5 if you didn't have that background info from the Anakin Thrawn, the context from the Anakin Thrawn mission. So they definitely build off each other, or at least the Thrawn Vader builds off the Anakin Thrawn. And overall, I would give Star Wars Thrawn Alliances a 3 out of 5 rating. Like I said, very good book, very good Star Wars book. If you're a Thrawn fan, it's a must-read. However, it's probably my least favorite Thrawn book. And out of all the canon novels I've read so far, it is good, but it doesn't really wow me. It didn't wow me, at least. That being said, I read it in a day. I couldn't put it down. But, I mean, it's a Timothy Zahn Thrawn book, so what do you expect? But another thing I want to mention briefly is that it does have some parallels with the canon Star Wars book Tarkin by James Luceno. And what I mean by that is that this novel, as well as this novel, both have the elements of Vader being with a highly intelligent, high-ranking Imperial officer, and they're paired on a duo mission, and the officer is like, who also knew Anakin Skywalker, is trying to figure out if Vader's Anakin Skywalker. And that is an element in both of these books. And this book was published first. So that, even though I enjoyed it in this and I enjoyed it in this, it's kind of weird to see it again. But to give Zahn credit, something that this book has, which this doesn't, with those parallel elements, is that in this one, it's Tarkin examining Vader. Whereas in this one, yes, Thrawn is examining Vader. But also in this one, Vader is examining the officer. He's trying to figure out if Thrawn's loyalty, or at least he's questioning Thrawn's loyalty to the Empire in relation with the Chiss ascendancy. And perhaps a fan of this novel could argue that Vader is observing Tarkin as well, as far as like if he's a competent leader. But that's a little less extreme than like his allegiance to the Empire. So yeah, 3 out of 5. Great book. Highly, highly recommended. If you get the Barnes & Noble edition, it comes with that cool poster. It's not that big. It's probably like 14 inches long and, I don't know, 8 wide. I should have measured it first. But yeah, thanks for watching.